Yeah.
It won a
True.
game.
Okay.
It wins the game.
Yeah, I think
changing
Aurora
your
was the
opinion?
difference maker there, guys.
Yeah, okay. Just wanted to keep you accountable for your actions there.
I mean,
Oh, wow.
it's like in League, you have a 50% win rate, right? But that doesn't mean you carried and won 50% of the games. Sometimes you're a passenger on the bus, sometimes you're a bus driver. And
So
there was quite a few
Aurora's
people
not
on
a bus driver. Is
yeah,
that what you're saying?
and there was quite a few people riding the bus there, and Bvoy was driving it. Great to
Powerful
FlyQuest
driver.
Lineup.
So you mentioned earlier in the day as well, Contractz and Palafox feeling people out in best of fives. How's the vibes after the game 2 win, and do you think they can build on that momentum?
I think they figured out how they want to fight. I think this game they, messed up a little bit. I think Palafox especially could position better, especially with Annie. You really want to value not showing, so you catch people by surprise. And I think it will just, they're just figuring out how they want to fight, play for objectives, and what they can and cannot contest. Because I think at times they were contesting when they shouldn't, like the Rift Herald, where they were trying to get too greedy and get both. So it's just, I think they're feeling their way into the series.
Okay, now getting into this draft, you can see the Cassiopeia band sets up a Ryze first pick, no Pantheon. Azir Nico, no
Vi's left
Cassio,
open,
Karma,
yeah.
Yone, and Vi is open to be taken by Red
I wonder
Side if
what
they
that
want it.
does to someone's ego. Like, you're known as a Cassio main, and your team bans Cassio to pick Ryze. It's like, what are we doing here, guys? No, but
Kind of like that Galio ban in game 1. I almost feel like they're saving it for later in the series. Like they're
Yeah.
banning it
they're actually
themselves
like,
so the
"Don't
other
steal
team
it
doesn't
from
get to
us."
play it. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, there's the Galio, speaking of which.
All right, there we have
By
it.
Galio combo.
Yeah, so FlyQuest or Shopify having the clear go button this time as well. Last game they had it with the Annie Flash. This time they have it with the Galio combo. So they do have a style that they want to play to. Just make it simple and easy to teamfight.
And already, if this hover goes through, Trundle will be their spawn.
I'm
The
a
initial
pretty big fan of
response
Trundle
to
into
that,
Galio.
I think they
Ryze
could just
stuff.
take Sign here since Trundle's out of the pool. If they're okay with giving Ambessa, but that's another dive champ for Shopify if they do trade that. So a lot of dive here already on Shopify, and they could add more.
Is it too early to pick Xayah, do you think?
I'm not the balling expert here. I just stick to the top side.
I would say that, you got Ezreal,
they're
Xayah,
going
and
Yeah.
you
I mean,
both-
Renekton is out, so you don't really care too much now of what else is available, unless Fudge has some sneaky counter pick that he's been practicing. But pretty solid first 3 here for FlyQuest. They have early game priority, Trundle into the counter engage, and Ambessa is just a strong champion overall.
I wonder what Shopify Rebellion is going to start to ban here, because of course they can go towards the safe AD carries, Xayah, Ezreal, stuff like that, or they can just take away some of the disengaged supports that are available.
Yeah, the Aatrox does come out, which is roughly an even lane, I think, pretty skilly lane. So don't expect too much to happen up there, but the comp looks pretty good for both sides. I think both sides have pretty good engage and disengage as well. So this will be, I don't think we're gonna see 0 kills in 15 minutes in this
Yeah,
one.
no.
All right, great news. I appreciate that.
I really like the Renata ban coming out. I've talked a lot about how good I think Renata is into dive comps. I think it would suit FlyQuest really, really well. So happy to see Shopify taking that off the board, because the Renata into the Galio in particular, or whatever they want to add to it, could have screwed them over pretty hard.
And I just do like the fact that Galio is going towards Shopify, just because I think Contractz is great in being able to know and when to pull the trigger. And so if he sees a snap engage on either the Ambessa or Ryze, and they can play through sides pretty well, that's quite nice for them. Seems like the Renata does go, so the support ban does make sense there.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see where the bot lane goes, because I was thinking that Massu would want to play something like Xayah. I feel like Fudge is probably mentioning that Ezreal looks good here to Bvoy, as apparently he always does, and now that Lucian is off the table. Cyberban is pretty nice against all the melee champions that Shopify has.
Yeah.
I think Xayah and Ezreal might be the trades here, but I'm not sure. I feel like Ezreal doesn't do that much damage. And Xayah obviously has a lot of self-peel, and both sides have a lot of dive threat. So
yeah,
the Rakan ban to take away the Xayah Rakan pairing, Also the engage as well. Good with Vi and Ziggs there.
Ziggs taken out.
Okay, interesting. I do like Kai'Sa with the draft that Shopify Rebellion has for themselves, but it is Bvoy's favorite pick.
There we
It is
go.
his favorite
He's locked
pick.
it in.
Or is his team's favorite
He's
pick.
smiling. Look, maybe they convinced him.
Yeah.
We're joking because I still think it's one of his, like alongside the Lucian,
Yeah.
absolutely one of his best champions. Fits really well with what they've already locked in.
It's his most played Dokla, but he said he does not like playing Ezreal,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
pretty funny.
It's a job, you know, at the end of the day. He's got to
Locking
lock
in.
in. All right, time for Ezreal. And the ball in response.
Ooh, Kai'Sa Rell maybe if they want to dive in hard.
Yeah.
This would be a lot of dive here. It's just going to be a complete fist fight with these comps going right at each other.
Yeah,
Is there any concern
we
with them
go.
trying to play for dive? Because you're going into Galio Aatrox. And yeah, sure, Ezreal can be an easy.
I'm concerned.
Yeah, so I'm a little worried about that.
Well, it's not the shy Aatrox, and it's not season, like, what was it, 8 or whenever it was really that OP. I think Aatrox
Yeah,
is a little weaker than he was back in his heyday. So it's still pretty good. I think whoever can go in first might be able to just one-shot someone. I think Aatrox typically builds, he has a lot of HP, but there's enough damage on this side where whoever they can, just CC, they could just one-shot the first target.
I think it's a pretty balanced draft across the board, though.
Yeah.
Like, I love the Braum 5th pick after they decided to go Kai'Sa Rell, especially with all the fist fighting that's going to be happening early with melee. The Braum passive is going to get so much value. But at the same time, just like having Trundle in these melee fistfights, I also feel like is super OP. So I'm kind of happy that we have this draft from both teams. It's a lot of go-in champions, and hopefully, Dokla, surely this leads to fighting.
Does that sound like a...
No! FlyQuest
no,
is going to
this
win
is
every
even.
game
This
Bwipo's in.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, that's my prediction.
Okay.
All right, well, damn.
Are you
Is it
sounding
yours?
the horn, Raz?
No.
Okay, casters.
But yeah,
Raz is done
Casper
baiting
takes
us.
away.
Oh, those profane buffs.
Raz messing around. Who would have guessed it? There has to be like a rule around the air raid siren that once you start making the noise, you are locked in.
You can't crank halfway.
Because otherwise,
You gotta juice that
Can't
thing up.
stop cranking.
No.
That's,
No, you can, especially in a place of work.
let's.
Actually, you
Hey, game 3 is starting. Look at that. Wowee, FlyQuest.
Legends. All right, well, Bwipo's back in. We'll see how he's going to do here against Fudge in that top lane. Obviously, if they just win all their matches with Bwipo and the one game was lost with Gakko, people will go, it was Gakko's fault. But I don't think, he was like a major determining factor either way. I think he was kind of just along for the ride of it in that game. And I will say that we were joking about it, but Bwipo is going to make something happen for your team, right? That is one of the things that he brings the X factor. Like, if a game is slowly bleeding out, Bwipo's going to make a play. Like, he's going to find those angles.
he is definitely not a passenger, that's for sure.
No.
He's a driver. Whichever way he's going to drive the game is definitely going to have an influence.
Might be into the wall, but he's going to be driving.
If he's a passenger at all, he's on the top of the car like Mad Max. That's the way it's going. But as we're waiting, as we're waiting for the action to start, Raz is standing by for an interview with Shopify coach Revan.
That's right. And the first question for me is actually about the last game. Did you expect at all that Gakkos was going to be coming in for this one? Revan? No. No, you use your microphone, brother.
Oh, no, sorry. No, and I don't know why they did it personally.
They explained to us, at least like during the interview from Nuke Duck, that they had something planned, but then you guys chose red side. So if you want to explain why you guys chose red side.
I can't do that.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
But
Just catching you
I
on
think if, like, just by characteristics, if they do want to put him in, they should have side select and more red side. So I think them having to choose the sub before the side is not really beneficial for them. So maybe they didn't know that law. So, yeah.
It is what it is. And like talking about this game in particular, just the draft, like, can you talk about what you guys are trying to aim for? Because going into what Fly has to offer with Trundle Ryze seems a little bit difficult. What are your thoughts?
I mean, they have good short range upfront damage, but they don't really have great engage besides Ambessa ult and like Rell ult, but we also have Ezreal Braum to make up for that. I think Ezreal and the Ambessa are the presidents this game, and we just start with Ezreal poke. They're probably gonna get desperate, come in, and then we just play back at that point. And we also have Vi Galio that are double global, that we have good fight selection, so just don't tunnel into Trundle Ryze that we can't one-shot is what we are aiming for with this game.
All right, sounds good to me. Very clear. Maybe Bvoy, President Bvoy can take this one, so take it away, casters.
President Bvoy was certainly doing a good job in game number 2 on the Lucian, so we'll see if he can run for a second term here on Ezreal.
Usually the president that is the incumbent, does win the second time. It's a lot more likely, and Bvoy definitely was the previous game. So, chat, are you voting for President Bwipo this time around, the Ambessa, or President Bvoy, whose Lucian just won them the last game? We were joking as well. Kind of 1v9, but Lucian is never really 1v9 because you need the Nami there to buff you up and still press buttons on you.
Well, he was pressing them buttons really well. Those auto attacks chunking people down to 1/3 HP with just a couple of them was good stuff. Checking in on that damage per minute from the last game. Oh, Quad gets first blood on Palafox while we're looking at the stats from last game. He is not waiting on this one.
Wait, there's a third party that has entered the race. President Quad!
That's not American. There's no third party.
Oh boy, Contractz in some danger now here too. Wants to try to get away, but it ain't gonna happen. Massu picks up the second one for FlyQuest. It's 2 kills on the board before 4 minutes.
Yeah, Contractz and Palafox were out campaigning for Bvoy. they got jumped.
They were trying to put up posters, and they just got wrecked.
This is tough.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be crazy because I was also thinking, when they're talking about the drafts here, like the possibilities for side lanes for FlyQuest later are tremendous with Ambessa and Ryze. And now Ryze getting early money. This is a champion that builds lots of stacking items here. Your Seraphs and your Rod of Ages are really benefit from getting early money. So him getting a first blood there and them killing off the jungle reduces some of that extra threat that could go that way. This bodes very well for FlyQuest.
Bvoy in some danger here. Pops the barrier to make sure that they don't force his HP too low. Massu with those double buffs. This is so obnoxious too. He's just going to be spamming so much damage out, but he might just die. Bvoy looking for a little bit more. He needs another auto attack and he finds it, but now Busio is going to get the return kill and Seos could be in danger coming to try to help his AD carry. Meanwhile, it's a jungle invade from Inspired and Quad forcing Contractz back out. Now the Vi doesn't have the flash either.
This game is more your speed for sure, Flowers.
Yeah, this is way better. I love this. This is fantastic.
Everybody's fighting everywhere.
This is great.
Get in there. Jungle invade as well, as you mentioned. And that's feats already. A second kill into the Kai'Sa as well means the dive and the follow-up for Engage is really going to be there.
Yeah, and in the meanwhile, I don't think this was on screen, but Inspired was able to push Contractz and force his flash off his Raptors, so he got in there and is able to force that, then steals the Raptors, does the drive-by, puts a little pressure onto Palafox, so doing a really good job of keeping active in these early games. Generally, I think you do know that Inspired has a tendency to really be farm heavy, but I like that he's mixing it up a lot. You think back to last game, I thought his Poppy gank early was great.
Yeah, really, really good. He took the entire opposite approach, which was the perma-gank Poppy. Really like that as well. Unfortunately, they had later game mistakes that ended up costing them, but I thought he did play that game exceptionally well. We'll see this time around, of course. Now it's going to be really hard for the Galio to do much versus the Ryze. Galio has no flash. The Vi also has no flash and did get pushed out of the jungle for a little bit. We'll see when the Vi ultimate comes up. Maybe they could try something, but honestly, everything kind of going according to plan there for FlyQuest now, even better than the plan.
All right, so our third game is going to have the middle of the pack lane swap timer here. 6.5 minutes in as our bot lane duos have moved up into the top lane. As we'll see if Massu and Busio get caught off guard here by this attempted play in the brush from Shopify. They are going to step all the way up. Crash down defensively from Busio, stepping back away from it now. As the wave just continues to push further and further ahead, Seos jumps forward, and now Contractz jumps out. Massu's going to be in some danger as he gets stunned up and gunned down. Nicely done from Shopify Rebellion. Busio with a flash away to guarantee that he doesn't lose too much HP as Inspired approaches what's left of the fight, but there's nothing for him to do. Shopify got their mission and got out.
Secret Service up there towards that top side, protecting the President, getting him into a good spot. Contractz may have lost his flash, but found a really good angle and was very patient on that gank. felt like he was in that side brush forever, but does make it pay off.
Yeah, he waited for the good positioning there out of the brush to land the Q on them. But whenever you wait that long, you of course are behind in the 1v1, and you're versus a Trundle, who already has a good 1v1 versus you. And so Inspired, again, is going to take up his jungle advantage to go for the invade. So Vi playing for the lanes, for the teammates, you know, as you say, focusing on the President Bvoy. But that does mean they're going to lose out the rest of the map, and Palafox is the next target.
Yep, Palafox goes in for the taunt on Quad. He gets him low, but he can't quite get him all the way gone as Busio and Massu swoop in for the extra help. Fudge versus Bwipo down here for the bottom lane, and Fudge gets the solo kill with the Aatrox.
So they're playing for their president, and Fudge assassinates the opponent's president. He takes down Bwipo in the 1-for-1 here. Wait, okay, so it's still going to be the grub startup for Inspired, even though the Shopify duo is up here and pushing in the wave. He's going to be able to take his 1 grub and maybe even take his triple grub pack.
It looks like he will be able to. It's not looking like it's going to be contested at all. Contractz is down towards that bottom side, and you see really big advantage in mid lane now opening up. You know, it's almost a 900 gold lead, and even with some of the help that they were trying to throw Bvoy's way to try to make sure that he is in a good spot here, it's still Massu a couple hundred gold ahead down there as well. So we can see this one more time. It's Fudge just kind of buttering up Bwipo. Pops the ulti, realizes he's gone too far.
Oh no, he's got butter all over him.
He's all buttered up. Butter him up, throw him on the grill.
He hit him with the infernal chain there to cook him up afterwards. Honestly, though, people always talk about how well Fudge has been doing recently, and it really did turn around when they played against FlyQuest, and he did really well versus Bwipo, even though they ended up losing that series. But you know, since then, he started doing really well and has kind of ascended here.
Yeah, and I mean, you can see, so the stats on the right are when Bwipo is playing against Fudge. The stats on the left are Bwipo versus everyone else. So obviously, you know, is not nearly as dominant against Fudge as he is against the rest of the pack. And Fudge, you know, I was even talking to him in the interview prior. He was saying he doesn't feel like he's underestimated anymore. It feels like he is getting that respect, so that's not really something that's on his mind right now. And it's more just about believing in their team and the fact that he felt, hey, we don't actually have to do anything weird against FlyQuest. We just need to play our game well, and we can probably just beat them straight up.
Yeah, Cloud9 were talking about it, and they were saying they used to kind of view Shopify as like, oh, okay, well, you have to focus on Bvoy because, you know, he has possibilities to carry as they go for a tower dive.
Oh, yeah, Quad's going in for the Realm Warp here, but Palafox with a Justice Punch. Oh, they're both down to 150 HP. Quad leveling up, though, getting the extra little bit of healing from that one. Going to walk through the Tri-Brush here. Palafox does have a control ward in Pixel. He's just going to wait on top of that one for a moment. Does spot out Quad there with the ward, but Contractz is coming in to help his mid laner. Quad, though, make sure it's a 1-for-1. Contractz with the Vi. True Shot Barrage from Bvoy also fired up there to guarantee it. But Quad still gets his man first as Bvoy's under pressure back over here in the mid lane. Massu swooping in there with a Killer Instinct. Busio pops the heal for tempo, but he missed Shattering Strike. Busio still manages to get away, but that was dicey.
He wanted to give the kill to his AD carry, that's why.
Okay, well now they both got to worry about getting away because Fudge has arrived with wings spread wide, and he'll take Massu out.
Another TP.
Fudge getting a second kill for this game, as now Busio still has to try to escape. Instead, just going to go for the execution here into the tier 2 turret, and will succeed in getting that. Yeah, this is 11 kills in 10 minutes. This is League of Legends.
Yeah, this is getting pretty spicy, and it does buy some time, you know, off screen for Bwipo. He's going to get 2 plates, so that is pretty nice for him. That eliminates a lot of that gold advantage that Fudge had been building up because he TP'd in towards mid. All the way back to that top lane play, though, Palafox had him kind of cornered there, as we're going to see another fight.
Yeah, they want to go in after Quad, but the Ryze already has his Roa fully completed.
Trundle's
He's
coming.
pretty tanky. It's very hard to kill him. And Inspired's on the way up here now as well. Rune Prison onto Seos. Inspired shouldn't be able to get a pillar that actually threatens lethal damage here, as Seos and Palafox are all the way back to the turret.
Yeah, I just want to say, I felt like Contractz had Quad dead to rights, and Palafox didn't need to go back in, right? And with him going back in, he gave that kill over to the Ryze, who is already way ahead. I mean, look at the CS now. He's nearly 40 CS up at this point. Does have a 1.3k advantage. And Revan talked about we need to make sure we don't go in on Ryze unless we can one-shot him. Well, it's going to be pretty hard to hit that benchmark when he is getting this strong this early.
Yeah, I mean, Fudge is getting some kills on Aatrox, but as you said, during that time, Bwipo got 2 turret plates, and that's basically a kill's worth of money as well. And Fudge was kind of running through the jungle there to ensure that he could chase that one down. So, with all that added up, FlyQuest still have pretty healthy team-wide gold lead for themselves. As well, a lot of people always used to go Kai'Sa into the Ezreal so you can jump on him. And he's not going to be able to make the most of the poke time, but here's Fudge.
Okay, Fudge trying to defend himself as the 3-man squad from FlyQuest wants to threaten a dive, but the Aatrox does a very good job fighting them off. Chunks Inspired down to half HP and then just goes right back to farming.
Yeah, Seo's now looking for Inspired.
Yeah, he'll tag him there with the Winter's Bite. Commits Glacial Fissure for it as well as Bwipo's chasing after Fudge. Inspired though, first to die. Contractz taking the kill credit and Fudge turns his attention back over to Bwipo. Shopify Rebellion is sending everybody down here and it's a double kill for Contractz and the Vi. Fudge completely forces Bwipo back. Palafox is here. We'll see if they want to try to go for a dive. Palafox does have full health if they want to commit to it. Minion Wave also about ready to crash into the turret, and nobody from FlyQuest is around to help Bwipo. There are no teleports that could come in and try to reinforce him, so he's going to have to try to outplay this, as he does create a little bit of distance. Will not get pulled back by the Infernal Chains, but Fudge and Palafox now have the opportunity to get even more money from the turret plates. The Drake was also secured for Shopify after the fight was done.
Yeah, I mean, good job there by Bwipo to live, but this has been such a good sequence for Shopify, starting with Seos, the Braum, just hitting that Q onto Inspired ensures that they can go for this trap. He hits the first Q, so he's slowed, and he just forces it, trying to stack up his passive, full ult. They get the trap onto the Trundle. They kill him in addition to both Contractz and Inspired flashing to make sure they can get it. And Shopify on the objective board as well now with the Mountain Dragon.
It is really nice, but at the same time, we look back at these towers again. This 3 grubs Ryze is just working on that tower the whole time. It was not a quick dive that they were looking for, and Palafox was behind that tower for quite a long time. And in the meanwhile, Quad was hitting top, and Bwipo even stays around bot, works down on that tower. So that's 2 outer towers that are very, very low at this point. And it's a nearly 2,000 gold lead now for Quad's Ryze. He is putting himself in a position to succeed, and it's going to be kind of the top side of Shopify that have to be the X factor here. Can Fudge and Contractz take their advantages and turn it into something more?
Yeah, when one person has a larger individual gold lead than your whole team does, it means there is an immense amount of pressure on that one person to be able to carry the team forward and turn that individual lead into a team-wide lead. Quad is in a great spot right now. You can see the tier also just about to hit 300 stacks. So with that Roa already fully completed, building towards the Seraphs, having the massive gold lead, he's going to be a huge problem for Shopify Rebellion. The Herald now spawning too, so there should be another fight breaking out for that one here soon, and Quad is already posted up there.
I really favor this FlyQuest consistent damage as well as we progress through the game. So we'll see about this bottom play from Inspired, though. He's going to go straight through a Tribrush ward. Yep. That means that Shopify will know Inspired and the jungle presence for FlyQuest are on the bottom side of the map, so they'll take that information and immediately start up the Herald.
Yeah, that Herald Inspired is running straight back up, though, so they're trying to consider contesting.
Okay, 6,000 HP on the Herald. Quad wrapping around. Busio looking on, but the Herald is dropping pretty quickly. I don't think FlyQuest is going to get anybody in there in time, but they might still try to fight afterwards. Nope, just going to walk everybody else back towards that mid lane. Nicely played from Shopify, recognizing, like you guys were saying, Inspired's bottom, start the Herald.
Yeah, it's really interesting, though, because Inspired ran straight up, Fudge was obviously assuming that he would be a dive target, so he backed off. So even though he didn't stay there, it did mean that Bwipo gets that tier 1 bot. He's able to knock that down. Fudge can't stay on that weak side, so he walks up. And so at the end of the day, yes, you did get the Herald, but you did give a tower, and the gold lead grows for FlyQuest, plus they get feats off of that first tower.
Contractz looking for his next target here. Quad, of course, has flash, so anytime you're looking at targets that do have flash and you are playing Vi, you do not want to ult in willy-nilly.
Not when they're near the friendly neighborhood turret. That can result in some pretty dire straits as Bwipo continues pushing up down here in the bottom lane, wants to keep this wave pushing forward, wants to try to crash it if he can. Fudge, of course, just continuing to defend at the same time. Sundered Skies done for both the jungler and top laner of Shopify. And like we were talking about earlier, if they want to make something happen, we're looking at Fudge and Contractz, particularly Contractz, who has the largest individual gold lead for for Shopify at almost 1,000 to get it done.
The biggest problem for Contractz is he can only be in one place at one time. You can't ult both the Ryze and the Kai'Sa because Massu is also going to be a huge problem. Yeah. I actually love when you go double movement summoners like this. Kai'Sa with Ghost, with Flash, has so much mobility for these team fights. It is going to be really hard for Shopify to lock him down unless they use the Vi ult there, which means that Quad would then be free firing as well. And Quad, we talked about accelerating those double scaling items. He's got his Seraph completed and only 4 more ticks here for his Rod of Ages for the extra level to go as well. So they are feeling pretty good about their 2 carries.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to send the Vial onto Massu, you have to be damn sure you're going to one-shot him because that is 4 melee champions that are going to be stacking up with a Ryze that's not being targeted. And that is a Spellflux dream, right? Like, that is the amount of AoE that can come out. And we also know Kai'Sa can go in towards AP, can go in towards Seekers later in the game if you're really worried about that Vi, and you can even have potentially double Seekers. He's going obviously AD right now, but I still wouldn't be shocked if he thinks that the dive is a problem because I just think Zhonya's is so effective against the Vi Galio combo.
Man, look at the itemization comparison in mid lane. You've got fully completed and feats-empowered boots, plus 2 stacking items that scale incredibly powerfully, versus Hollow Radiance and then just some starter garbage, right? You've got brown boots, you've got Doran's, you've got Dark Seal. It's not a very close comparison.
Tome. It's going to amplify some things.
It's not even end game garbage, okay?
No, man, this is like level 1 garbage. You can buy all of this
garbage. You're breaking
garbage
open the pots on the side of the road
when your character is level 1.
You got to do what you got to do, you know? You can't start the game at level 100.
All right, well, they're starting the game mid lane priority, and pretty much every team likes this. Mid lane priority into move towards the dragon.
Okay, there's your engage coming out from Contractz. He wants to commit onto Bwipo, but Bwipo is just fine. Shopify still seeing if there's an angle to fight here as Busio's down to half HP. Fudge goes forward with the Q, does find a little bit of CC here, but Palafox cannot continue marching forward. Now that FlyQuest has brought all the troops, Shopify might be in some serious danger. Palafox come crashing down, but it will not matter. FlyQuest pushing forward. Bwipo leading the charge. Bvoy on the run as Contractz isn't going to get anywhere. It's a 4,000 gold lead for FlyQuest, and they teach Shopify that the hard way.
That's what it looks like when both the Ryze and the Kai'Sa are free firing. Massu is looking really good there. I like the reposition. He pops his Ghost as well, keeps his DPS up, and right behind all the focus that had been onto Bwipo, Shopify are unable to get Bwipo, and they are unable to get much afterwards either. That is easy dragon pickup here for FlyQuest, and still keeping the pressure on the tower, and Seos is just dead through the Unbreakable.
Yep, that's what happens when this hyper-accelerated Ryze just locks you up with the Rune Prison.
Plus, the Kai'Sa had just completed Rageblade before that fight, so Massu was so ready for this.
I mean, he absolutely was, and they decided they're going to full send it here onto Bwipo, but even though Contractz gets in, there's not really much follow-up damage, right? It's just him hitting him. It's not as though Bvoy is in position. Busio is marking Bvoy on the side, keeping him out of the fight, which I thought was really, really nice.
And then you have no Vi ultimate for either of these big carries that were like, what are you going to do? You can only ult 1. You can only ult 0 now because it was onto Bwipo, and Bwipo's actually healing up through this fight on the Ambessa with the leech, so really nice turnaround there by FlyQuest.
And then I like the end of this fight here from Bwipo, just flashing in onto Bvoy, putting the pressure on him. Really the only way Shopify can win this fight is if he's free.
I'm scared, but nice play.
Oh, wow, don't need to be scared. Me and Alan were absolute chuds.
Absolute chads. Nothing to be afraid of. FlyQuest 5,000 gold ahead now.
Yeah, Bwipo is very confident in taking that pressure. You know, he was able to deal with the focus from Shopify quite well.
Yep, and I mean, you look at where the gold is isolated. We talked a lot about Quad, but it is 5K lead for just Quad and Massu, right? That is insane, and they couldn't even get the charge off there. I looked away, but I'm assuming Trundle just pillared it because you can actually block the charge with that. So not even able to get the crash in. And now you are really in dire straits here. There's not much of an advantage to speak of at all for Shopify anywhere on the map. And when you have a team that you're losing to in side lanes that has 3 grubs, that has this big gold advantage, problem solving gets so hard because Seekers is even in now for Quad.
Yeah, if it wasn't already difficult to blast through the mountain of health and shields that mid-game Ryze has, the Seekers will now completely nullify that main engage mechanism of the Vi Galio combo. So things just go from bad to worse here for Shopify Rebellion in game number 3. Massu continuing to push up down here in the bottom lane as Busio and Inspired are taking over the jungle of Shopify Rebellion. They're clearing out vision, they're placing down wards of their own. They're making it dangerous for Shopify to lead their turrets.
I like how this whole game we're all just hyping up Quad 2 and like, the president is actually going to be Ryze. But then in the comms, he's like, guys, I'm scared.
Yeah, that's why he's the president. The Secret Service has to keep him safe, you know?
Yeah. And they had a good frontline Secret Service. They was definitely doing
The agents
their
are
job.
diving in. Get down, Mr. President.
All right, well, Otacon, does Otacon vote? Because Otacon votes on which team wins or loses very frequently in these games. Oftentimes, the Otacon is the deciding vote.
Yeah, it's a neutral party here, you know? Otacon doesn't care.
Well, Shopify have shown Contractz up in the top side, so FlyQuest are immediately going to go for that Otacon themselves. Bwipo staying alive here in a 1v3-4 now. Teleport comes in from Quad to reinforce him. And Bwipo buys enough time for Quad to arrive, but now the president might be in a little bit of danger. No, he's got him taken care of. It's a 2v3, and he likes those odds. He's so damn tanky with the shields. FlyQuest will claim the Otacon on the bottom side of the map and win a 2v3 on the top side, too.
We could call the election now, and I think it's going to fight.
Oh! Clean!
That reaction! That's my president right there.
I was about to submit the vote, and then I was like, okay, I drop it.
Now you'll do it twice. You'll commit election fraud.
Whoa. I don't know who's listening right now.
Sorry.
But
He's an honest voter.
don't know how you do things in Canada, buddy.
Well, FlyQuest are doing things real well here in this one. 38 flowers to 13 for a ton of extra stats. They're making plays like this as Bwipo defends and Quad arrives to save the day.
Let's replay those comms. Don't worry, I'm a Chad. He's able to kite these 3 bruisers, uses his shield as well, and then they go for the turn. This is the most exciting part. Quad gets in, he has the confidence with his Seraph steal available, and as you say, you know, the spell flux there kind of annihilating all 3. Then Bwipo comes back in for the turn. The Seraph shield comes out. That is enough to keep him alive. And Busio is also there.
And the fact that they did Otacon in the meantime, are pushing both mid. You can see Trundle's pushing mid, Kai'Sa's pushing bot, and look at this reaction time. That is crazy.
Yeah.
He is not caught shopping.
And look at the mini. I was trying to look at the mini map. I think it was Fog of War the whole time.
We're back to live. Hold on. There's some violence occurring down here as Busio, Bwipo, and Inspired holding out against a 4-man attempt here from Shopify. But as Massu also makes his way in, Bwipo decides to dive in with a public execution. Magnet Storm for the immediate follow-up, and everybody on Shopify is about to die. Triple kill to Massu, and Contractz and Palafox are running the wrong damn way. Massu wants to fly in with a killer instinct to find the kill into Contractz first, but Palafox will die instead. Only Contractz left still running away as Busio and Inspired give full chase, and Quad is in the enemy base the whole time, just pushing down mid.
I mean, Quad was running up to that fight, saw they were stomping it so hard they don't need him. He realm warped back to mid lane to push in there, and they have the TP down towards bot from Bwipo. FlyQuest are taking everything. It's going to be an over 13,000 gold lead here at 25 minutes.
Yeah, this third game is not even close, man. 5,000 individual gold lead for Quad. 4,500 individual gold lead for Massu. Normally at 25 minutes into a game of League of Legends, if your whole team has a 4,500 gold lead, you're feeling really good. Let alone just one guy. Inspired and Massu can 2-man this very easy 20 seconds after the Baron spawns.
Take from them everything. They pushed all 3 lanes. They will grab their Baron and then head to the Dragon afterwards. Nice stuff here for FlyQuest. All that's left is the victory march.
It's tough to get subbed in for Gatghost when Bwipo comes back in and the game looks like this, man.
And this is after getting solo killed at the beginning.
Yeah, it's tough. The Bwipo factor in full effect, but obviously Quad having an incredible game. I think Quad has had a great series. There was a lot of talk about how, you know, Quad has not been playing to his standard so far this split. You know, maybe was a point of weakness. Fudge even, you know, mentioned that in the interview that was something that they could look to attack. They don't really play a lot around him. Quad is showing they don't really need to play around me because he is handling business on his own.
Yeah, Massu as well. I really feel like Kai'Sa in here can do so much. Ezreal doesn't have a very easy time landing skill shots on her, and she can follow up on plays like these effortlessly. Well, that one you just kind of walk through there so far ahead. There isn't really
Yeah, there's Palafox walked into the brush. FlyQuest was waiting in the brush. Palafox dies. That's kind of just the calculus when you're 15,000 gold behind. And FlyQuest can now just march down mid lane. Palafox is dead for the next 30 seconds. Inspired throws out a pillar there as the wave collides with the tier 3 turret. Seos has to try to get away to some safety as he and Bvoy scramble to defend, but the bottom lane inhibitor turret is going to fall. The inhibitor will go with it shortly thereafter. And FlyQuest just want to end this third game right here, move on to match point. Contractz is wrapping around, but it won't even matter. It's still a 4v5 for Shopify, and they're so far behind. Massu under no serious threat whatsoever as Fudge tries to fight back against Inspired, does get some decent healing, forces the flash, but that's all he'll get before he dies. Palafox finally respawning, but only in time to watch the base and the rest of his team all fall. Busio on the steps of the fountain finds a crash down, dies in the process. But Massu wants to full send it here at the very end as FlyQuest completely destroy Shopify and move on to match point lounge. How does Shopify fix this?